Hey everyone, welcome to the Nerdy Jock Podcast. I am the Nerdy Jock, Kevin Ketchum, and I am here with an amazing announcement, a great show for you today. If you haven't found out already, Dragon Ball 40th anniversary event, the Genkidama Matsuri event in Tokyo happened over the weekend, and huge reveals for Dragon Ball fans worldwide. So I think everyone's kind of stoked, and if you're watching this podcast, you've probably already seen some of the details, but we're going to go a little more in-depth in detail of what happened at this event. Now, at this event, they announced a new Dragon Ball video game, kind of like a 1,000-year, kind of like a MMO, like RPG, I think. I'm honestly not going to even go too far in depth about the games. I want to focus on the coolest part, in my opinion, of this event was the anime. That's right. Dragon Ball Super is coming back with Dragon Ball Super Galaxy Patrol arc, which is the next arc in Dragon Ball Super after the Tournament of Power. It's quite possibly my favorite arc so far in the manga for Dragon Ball Super, the Moro arc. Cool bad guy. Finally get a villain worthy of like the Frieza, the Cells, the Majin Buu, all the Dragon Ball Z great villains. Like it's that caliber of saga of villain. And, it's going to be one of the, I'm just super excited for it. It's going to be one of the biggest events, probably in the late 2027 is the release of that. So that's coming out. We'll check out that trailer in a minute as well. And we also have a reveal for a trailer, which is super beautiful too, for Dragon Ball Super Beerus. Now, what they're doing with this Beerus, show, I don't even know if I want to call it a show, because I don't think it's going to be that long. I think they're basically remaking Battle of the Gods, Dragon Ball Super Battle of the Gods, the first, opening for Dragon Ball Super, because it has been 13 years since they released that. So, I mean, I think it's a little too soon to be making a remake, but I think, the fans, they heard us. They said, some of the animation was pretty terrible and we weren't too fond of it. And I think now that One Piece is going to be going more seasonal instead of just nonstop constant, they can split their animation and talent into a couple groups, the One Piece group and then the Dragon Ball group. So they're going to do Dragon Ball justice and give them some amazingly beautifully animated shows. So I assume the Beerus one is just a hour and a half kind of film, like a redo. But some people are speculating right now that it's going to be just remaking all of Super, which I highly doubt. But let's get into, before we even get into like the trailers that I want to show you guys today, that's the main part of this episode. I just want to do a quick overview of why it's taken so long to get more Dragon Ball Super content. After the death of Akira Toriyama Sensei, rest in peace, we all miss him now. But after his death, there was tons of lawsuits over who owned the rights for, making the next arc in Dragon Ball Super. That's why I've been waiting. So basically, I'm just going to read off here, by the way, just so you know. Basically, Akira Toriyama, he didn't exclusively own all the rights to Dragon Ball, but he held rights for like the characters. So he actually owned the characters in the IP, kind of like George Lucas did with Star Wars. He actually owned the whole property. Well, this is a little bit different because Akira Toriyama owned the character rights, but Shueisha owned the manga rights, right? And then Bird Studio, which is, Toriyama's company, and Toei Animation split like the anime, and then Bandai Namco owned the rights to the video games. So it's kind of weird because there's a lot of Dragon Ball rights spread around through a lot of big companies. And when Toriyama passed, they just weren't sure like how that was going to be broken up. So basically, what we do know now is that Capsule Corp Tokyo, which is a company made by Akio Ioku, I didn't want to mispronounce that, Akio Ioku, who was a partner with Akira Toriyama. He started Capsule Corp Tokyo after he had a split up with Shueisha, and it turned out that Toriyama was favored Ioku and his steps and future designs for the franchise of Dragon Ball. So that's why we got Dragon Ball Daima, was because Shueisha owned the rights to the manga, so we couldn't make more Super without them giving it the green light. They basically had to give it a green light to make more, but they were caught up in endless lawsuits. So basically they made Dragon Ball Daima because Toriyama does have the rights to the characters, so he can make an original anime like an OAV series like you see all over anime. Actually, he could make that, but he couldn't do Super. But now it seems like they've come to some kind of working agreement to where they are going to move forward with the Dragon Ball Super arcs that have already been released. So I'm super excited for that. I think it's amazing. So, but next, let's just jump into these videos. I know this is what you guys want to see. If you haven't watched them already, they're awesome and they're worth watching again. Hirachiyama Sensei. It looks like here we have some super manga. You know, this is they're showing the Bardock's backstory in the beginning of the Moro arc. Yep. Burdock. Yep. Hi, I'm home. Okay. Kakarot still inside the incubator. Yeah, I mean, this is like straight up jacked from Superman. You know, let's be honest here. You know, Kakarot, incubator, sent off. You know, death of a planet, same deal. That's total Superman, but you know, it's iconic, it's classic, and you know, Kakarot, Goku, he's kind of like the Superman of our era, of our generation, I'd say. There it goes. Okay. Talking about sending it to Earth. Planet has plenty of food, human resources, take care, bye. Yep. Just like Superman. But not. And boom. That's weird. He looks a little bit bigger than the Dragon Ball days where he was just literally an infant. He looked like he's already wearing some Saiyan armor. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool, right? Look at that animation. Boom. Dragon Ball. Boom. The iconic original logo right there. 40th anniversary, original dragon from the manga. What I do love so far about the event is that this is just gorgeous. Yeah. So they're bringing all the old school stuff back. You know, it's a great homage to Toriyama and his original artwork. And just to see the manga panels come to life like this is amazing. Jackie Chun, Cal Pai Pai, you know, one of my favorites. I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is amazing. Piccolo, okay, that saga. Look at that. Goodness gracious. I wonder how long it took to make this. This is just absolutely stunning. And I think Hans Zimmer actually did the music for this, which is pretty cool, man. I mean, I never thought they'd be collaborating, but it's a good pick. And look at that, classic. So anyone who's read the manga, you know, these are all, you know, throwbacks to back in the day. Look at that, the iconic face-off between Vegeta and Kakarot. Goku, boom. Kaioken, look at that. That's gorgeous. Look at those lines. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how much I love this trailer. Yep, I have that shirt as well. Right there. Boom. Look at that. Just like the manga. They have these volumes of books with all this great artwork that I don't have them displayed here. They're in my closet. I have to get some more shelving for them. But a lot of this great artwork was in those as well. But just to see it moving in animated form, it's badass. You know, the Cell Saga right now. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's like 2D, but 3D. It's just beautiful. Beautiful animation. Boom. Of course, all the famous stuff from all the Cell Saga right here, the Gohan, Father Son Kamehameha, and there you go. And now look at, we're going to the Buu Saga. Looks like, yep, Majin Vegeta, classic. That was awesome, and dying to see that done right. Boom, beautiful. I mean, I could just watch this. I would pay to watch like an animated manga panel form like that, and boom, gorgeous. Look at how cool that is. That's so awesome. Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan boom. That's classic. Look at that. Just awesome. Awesome, awesome. I love it. This gives you like goosebumps, right? Like, dude, we're back. Dragon Ball is so back. There we go. That's there the end. The Dragon Ball Z. Gorgeous. Cool. And then boom. Kaioken, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct. I mean, look at that. If the animation for the new series is anything like that last shot of Ultra Instinct Goku, this is gonna be like top tier level animation, which we've been wanting as Dragon Ball fans forever. And then it goes boom, Beyond the Limit, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of the Gods, Resurrection F. I like how they kind of distributed this with Dragon Ball Super. It's showing its Super is its own thing. You know, it's not like Dragon Ball Z had these very specific sagas, you know? And, you know, Dragon Ball Super has them, but it's just showing that after Dragon Ball Z, it is kind of different how they are willing to be more malleable and do like, oh, a movie here, a movie there, an arc here, an arc there. It's not exactly cut and paste you know. Oh, there it is. Dragon Ball Super, the Galactic Patrol. Can't wait. I gotta get a gi like that. Like that's pretty cool with that logo as well. So this is a great arc. If you haven't read the Super Mura arc, you need to. It's pretty sick. A lot of updates on powers and power scaling. You get Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego. We get to Master Ultra Instinct. And it's really cool because I like how they're pushing it past Super Saiyan because we got stuck in that for what 3 sagas in Z, and now they're like, okay, everyone's gonna get their own kind of specific, can't talk, specific and unique kind of power up. So I'm excited for that, guys. I know you are too. That was a beautiful trailer. Tell me what you guys think about that. I'll post the trailer too on the website as well, on YouTube probably. And I'd say A+. I mean, I can't wait. I am a little concerned though that there's not like one, little bit of animation of the Galaxy Patrol. I know it's not due till late 2027 or early 2028 at the earliest, but they haven't been, there's not been anything new for Dragon Ball besides Daima in years. I was like, they could have given us like a little kind of like a couple animation or a couple cool animated, scenes. I don't know. Something like that would have been extra cool, but I'm still happy. I'm not disappointed. Okay, now check this out, guys. I'm put this on now. All right. Okay, so we see Beerus sleeping. Boom. And look at that animation. That is dope. Ultimate warrior no one has seen yet. His name is Kakarot Goku. No, that's awesome. Look at the animation. That's what it should have looked like from the beginning. Original artwork, story, and character design. Akira Toriyama, our guy. We love that. Giving props where props is due. The the GOAT. Look at that. Dragon Ball. Super. Boom. Beerus. I'm kind of like mixed on doing the Beerus part. I don't know how they're going to do it, what they're going to change up, but it really does look kind of like a much better animated version of the Battle of the Gods, from what I've seen. But look at that. Sick. I think one thing we can all agree on, whether we agree that we need to remake this or not, we do all agree as fans that, like, I think they did, all Dragon Ball fans a disservice with the, with the animation from the original Battle of the Gods. It, some scenes were fantastic, and then some sequences is like, it looked like, Microsoft Paint by Numbers from like 1990. I don't know. See there, like that's a much better version right there. I remember that panel, or that from the original animation, much better. Look at that, Shenron. Boom, boom. Super Saiyan God. That's pretty cool. And boom. I kind of like how his eyes are a little bit different too. It's a little bit different vibe. God versus God. Boom, big battle. Sick, strongest Saiyan. Boom. Look at that. So that's, I mean, even though we've seen it before, you still kind of get amped up to see this because it's going to be great. And I think this is actually going to air later fall 2026. So, we don't have to look too far beyond to get some new Dragon Ball content, or at least some upgraded. I think actually at the event, they called it an evolution of Dragon Ball. So, or Battle of the Gods. It's not really a new thing. I think they are just souping up the animation, but I'll take it. It's better than nothing. Fall 2026. So there you have it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm super excited. The video games, I played Sparking Zero for a while. I kind of lost interest after. It's a great game, but that's not really my focus. I'm more excited for the new anime coming out. So, I mean, we've been waiting for years for this, and the fact that it's finally coming back is a blessing. We didn't even know if it's gonna come back. I mean, that's what's crazy. There's a huge chance that Dragon Ball Super could just be nothing, and they're just making new animated, series based off, Akira Toriyama's characters. That wasn't connected to the manga at all. But we're actually getting the arcs to going forward, which is awesome. And the Galaxy Patrol arc, it's the longest arc in Super. It's long. It's thorough. It's exciting. That's just it. We're excited, and I'm so glad that we get to have some new Dragon Ball content back. Let's go. That's about it for this podcast. I don't really have anything much more to say, except I'm pretty stoked, and I can't wait for the future of Dragon Ball. So until next time, os!